when you don't realize where you're at.
My people didn't realize where we were at when we were on that motherfucking boat. So give us that back too, motherfucker.
This guy's mic'd up.
Yeah, right? Where's this audio coming from?
Also, when they show the clip of Aries, and you look at the lighting in the audience, it doesn't look like the same light that is on the person when he's filmed.
It's also to be like, to be that well lit and then to be that racist as well.
It's time to get wild.
That was wild.
Welcome to That Was Wild. I'm Adam Macias, and this episode is going to be wild. If you're noticing something different, that's because there is. I'm just starting this episode solo, mainly because these episodes have been very chillaxed lately, and I wanted to give you a very special message from me. If you never listened to the show, welcome. My name's Adam. This is the show where we celebrate the wild sides of life. We watch funny videos, we tell funny stories about wild things happening in the world and to ourselves. And if you are a fan of the show, hey, thanks for coming back. Well, you freaking wild freak. You freaking wild freak. Good to see you. Speaking of welcoming you back, we are welcoming back the very funny Sam Harder, a phenom of wild storytelling. Just a true delight to have on the show. He's been on it multiple times. This is just a fun one. I'm excited for you guys all to listen. This is, we break it down. We talk about lots of fun stuff. You saw that Aries clip. We dive deep into what's going on to there. But before we get on the show, I just want to say, please give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps us out. We are trying to grow this bad boy. And you know what? I don't have a job right now, and I really don't want to get one. So please help the numbers go up. I've actually been talking to some people out on the streets who have been listening to the show, and it's been really, really awesome to hear you guys. So thank you, you people that I've talked to. It's been multiple people, all right? So don't act like I'm not actually conflating this, which, you know, as I'm saying this, that sounds like I'm conflating this, but it's been at least two people. And I'm not going to say their names. They're in college in Canada. Anyways, you wouldn't know them. Anyways, thank you so much for giving me a shout out and letting me know you're fans. It really does mean a lot, especially considering I'm just talking in my room to a camera right now. And it does mean a lot to actually talking to people. But like I said, I don't have a job right now. I'm floating on some savings just while I'm working on my one-man show, Messy Ass. So anything to do that you can do to help me monetize this channel would be greatly appreciated, and to spread the word. So, without further ado, speaking of spreading the word, let's spread the good word of more words of this podcast. I think that makes sense because the podcast is filled with more words. Anyways, let's keep going on with this. Let's get wild.
Shows have been significantly more chill.
Oh, yeah. In what way?
Well, as far as like, we're not talk about like...
we're not getting on Omegle and looking at penises today.
Exactly. Well, yeah, no more Omegle, man. It sucks. But there's a new app that Matt Rife is specifically Matt Rife is advertising because he's known as like, and I was like, it was sponsored ad directly to me. It was like, they knew I needed a new app to replace Omegle.
Oh, okay.
That I was like, I should try this for the show, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to open that can of worms again.
No, well, Matt Rife is still just famous. I forget what brand of water it is, but if you walk into like a CVS, sometimes they'll have a Matt Rife little stand with his face on it of some water.
Matt Rife. Australia Riff Ocean Rife water.
Yeah, know? I mean, it's some normal brand, but they just have Matt Rife's face on it, which, hey, if I'm Matt Rife and they come to me and they're like, we just want to use your face to sell a bottle of water, sure.
I mean,
why not?
I mean, the man has he should be doing like skincare routine because he's got great skin, you know?
He obviously, if he made a YouTube like skincare channel, it would probably get a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
Because he's had some work done.
100%.
But he doesn't look like a total freak.
This isn't a hard stance that the man is handsome. He grinds, you know? But
he's
also
out there. New paid regular at the Comedy Store. Congrats, Matt.
New?
Yeah.
Really?
It's insane that they hadn't passed him before
That
this.
place is fucking whack, bro.
I know. Well,
I'm not into.
no, you shouldn't be. It's terrible.
But you were there recently, right?
I was there recently. I go like twice a week now since I do the set of the night mic
Yes.
and the potluck on Mondays.
Yes.
And I was actually lucky enough to get up at both last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam Harder, you're a very funny, hilarious comedian.
Thank you.
And we'll go back and reset after we're probably eventually we'll go back.
After he stops saying things that can't be posted online.
yeah. We'll go back and reset the show. And by the way, that was wild. And my name's Adam Macias, and this episode's going to be wild. But Sam Harder, you're a very funny comedian, and you go up. You're out here grinding on the Comedy Store. How's it going over at the Comedy Store recently? Are you having fun over there? Now that they're asking people to show up in person.
I mean, it is more fun.
Yeah.
And I think, that is a thing that kind of the online sign up of potluck killed at one point.
Yeah.
But they're also trying to avoid what's kind of happening now, which is weirdos will come and hang out.
Yeah.
But guess what? Those weirdos are buying some drinks. So that helps them out,
Helps the business.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it is fun. And it feels like,
Do you feel like a sense of community a little bit more?
when you go there, you realize it's the same people all the time.
Yeah.
It's not as like there is a revolving door of people, but at the same time, there's like a core group that's there all the time. So
Okay.
it is easy to actually make friends there. And
Okay.
It's very overwhelming at first because everyone already has their group of friends because they go there all the time.
I used to do it back in the day. I used to go like Monday nights, do the thing. I never actually signed up for it, but I would go and just hang.
You just go hang.
And it was the most intimidating thing to do.
Mhm.
I remember feeling like such a imposter, being like, what am I doing in here? And I would go in the back. They would let me in because I would say I'm a comedian,
Mhm.
and they would just let me walk
Would you
through
put
the back.
the air quotes?
Yeah, I would say I'm a comedian, and they're like, "Hey, don't do air quotes." And I'm like, "I don't know why I'm doing this. I didn't feel confident about this at all."
Yeah.
It's like, stop doing this. But anyways, like they would let me in, and they're like, and I remember there was maybe you can help me out with his name. He's a New York comedian. He famously took mushrooms on his Comedy Central special. And he's a super funny dude. I can't forget his name, but I remember being like, whoa, that's that guy that he's like a hilarious comedian.
Mhm.
And he's just like, those guys are comedians? They're fucking kids. And I was like, you're right. And I was like walking by him and I just went into the room. I was like, I remember going into the main, just like watching Jeff Ross, fucking
Hilarious.
just killing it, working on some fucking great Comedy Central roast that I'm sure
Justin
holds
Bieber. I should call you Justin Beaver because of those teeth.
up. Sure, holds up just amazingly. Still has his hair, but before he looked like a chode.
Nosferatu. He's
Yeah.
looking like nowadays.
Before he looked like Nosferatu's chode. Yeah, so I just remember being so intimidated by it, and just I'm not good in those situations. Like I can be one-on-one, but like in a group, I'm just like, I gotta go. Like I want to go. Like I crushed. I feel like I crushed on a set very recently, and I was just like, I left the room. I was just like,
you want to get out of there while your good graces are still high.
well, it was also one of those things that like, unless people are literally carrying me on their fucking shoulders, being like, Adam, you're the fucking best, and like like you're the main. I'm just like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go pet my dog. Like it's not the vibe for me.
Well, you got to take the wins where you can with comedy. It is a very uncomfortable thing. And this is one of the things we were trying to talk about. But I think when you do go to the LA club specifically, there's a lot of bravado and a lot of confidence with the people who hang out there.
And bravado from people who are classically mentally unwell.
Or they, a lot of people are a lot more confident than they are talented. And
that's
that
true.
can be not even an insult too. Sometimes that's a great way to be. It can help you.
Totally. I feel like there's people who, now I'll say this from myself, like I feel like I'm probably more confident that I will be more funnier later.
Okay.
Like I like
Later.
later. Like it's like I know how I can make. I have enough experience, like maybe online, or I have experience like with my friends that I'm like, I know I I could see myself being like really, really funny on stage.
Mhm.
Maybe I just don't have the best. I need to work on it still, right? And when I'm on stage, like I do okay in certain crowds, certain audiences. I do really, really well.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, there's confidence, and like obviously people fucking fake it and shit too. But
Yeah, and that's also the thing when you do comedy. You realize there's no such thing as real confidence.
yes,
Confidence
Oh,
can
wow.
totally be a put on.
100%.
And it's not that it's fake.
Literally-
it's a put on. You still have the confidence.
Yeah,
It's
I literally just talked about how I crushed on stage and I'm like a wild man, and then I'm like, I get off stage and I want to run and go hide in a fucking dark room afterwards. You know, like yeah.
Oh, also the chemicals that hit your brain when you're on stage doing good.
Yeah.
They immediately leave once you get off. Not immediately, but
Yes.
within a couple minutes they leave.
Yeah. yeah.
So sometimes you'll be like, was that set really that good? Because you'll be watching from the back and you're like,
Yeah.
this guy's doing good, but the laughs don't seem as loud. And then you kind of think about like, oh, well, the audience was facing me, so the laughs seemed louder. So were they actually laughing that hard at me, or was the position I was, it just sounded louder?
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
start doing all these math
yeah.
on if you actually had a good set,
That's
even though
why-
you did actually just have a good set.
Whenever I'm recording my sets for posterity, I set up 7 microphones just to make sure that I get all the laughs in the room. Just
Yeah,
to make sure
you should.
just make sure that what I'm hearing is correct. You know, it's a real scientific experiment.
Well, here's
you know?
the thing you don't know. If you've only seen comedy on live like on TV.
And by the way, when you think of comedy, you think of Matt Rife.
Uh-huh. And when
hey, what do you do for work, you piece of shit?
And when I say you, I don't mean Adam. I mean you, the listener. What you don't understand is if you've seen comedy on TV and on Netflix, you're watching an extremely edited, extremely
Yeah.
sterile
Yeah.
version of what
Oh, yeah.
stand-up is.
When they've probably been like, all right, hold, we're going to do that joke again.
They'll do that, or
Yeah.
they legit will record between 2 to 4 different sets,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
wearing the same outfit,
Yeah,
so they
yeah,
can
yeah.
be edited together
Yeah.
and look like it's from the same set. If one joke did better in this show,
Oh, yeah.
and not as good in the other show, so they'll edit in multiple shows to look like it was one set.
You know what I'm also seeing recently is like these vertical videos of stand-up clips where there's clearly plants in the audience, like doing mini sketches.
I've seen that
Like
too,
those
where it's like, dude,
fake-
you
fake-
have 4K quality cameras on the audience.
Well,
and the audiences are like lit. They're
yeah,
like lit
so
specifically.
perfectly lit. Like I think Aries Spears did one. And I'm just like, I think this is fake.
Well, we've now hit the point where crowd work clips are so popular.
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
I think now people's managers and stuff are like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And like many things now with social media, they want it to look like it was filmed on a phone.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
and
yeah.
uploaded. That's why it's in vertical when it was really shot with like a high quality camera.
Right. But
they,
this
they
one looked-
edit it into that format where it's looks
Yeah.
like a TikTok video.
Yeah.
And then it tricks people into watching it.
You want to check this out? Maybe we can see
absolutely. Because I've seen several of these lately, and I know some of the comics actually who do them, and I think at this point it is one of those. It is technically a setup, but what they're delivering is comedy that people want to see.
Yeah.
So despite it being
Totally.
a total fake setup,
I mean,
thing,
what's the difference between this and a sketch?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's the same thing. So
Exactly.
it's not like I think it's like it's better than the ones where it's like, you know, I'm cheating on my boyfriend's sign, like those ones you see on Facebook that are like, or like the Ragebaity ones. It's slightly, you know what I mean? Like, there's those ones that are like, follow me, I'm going to like make my favorite meal of the day, and then it's just like fucking pasta, beans,
and it looks like the worst thing.
the
in
worst thing
world.
is just like, and people are like, this is terrible. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's,
And that's what drives all the comments and views.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
that's what happens in the crowd work clips too. They're like, I can't believe this person said that.
yeah. All right, cool. So this is the one I was thinking of.
Okay. Ooh, and it's got 1 million views. So
Yeah.
it worked. Whatever we're saying negative about this, we are wrong. But I already see what you're saying. Because like, if you're sitting in the front couple rows of a
Yeah.
stand-up show, you are in the light
Yeah.
a little bit.
But not like this.
But to the point where they show it's like the kind of light you have on you when you're filming something.
it's kind of crazy.
Despite everything, did you have a good time, sir?
Hey, I came here to see you, dude, for real.
Oh, okay.
I've seen you multiple times on TikTok and everything.
Wait, pause it.
Phenomenal.
this guy's mic'd up.
Yeah, right.
This guy's like mic'd the fuck up.
Where is this audio coming from?
He's wearing a multiple layers, so it's possibly has a mic clipped on his shirt underneath his open jacket.
Or there's like a mic on stage pointing right at this
like
audience
a shotgun mic.
There's a mic, there's lighting on like directly from the back. Like, why is there lighting from the back? You know, if you watch the John Mulaney special, he talks to a kid where he goes like, "Hey, what age are you?" And he does like that. That happened while he was on tour, and he asked that kid to come visit him, to come see him live and tape and watch his special, and he did that bit for the special. So that was just recreated. So what I'm saying is like, it's possible that like this wasn't exactly scripted, but it's like, oh, I'm a fan. Can I be part of your show? You know what I mean? Like this, you know?
I don't know. I love the hell out of you.
Thank you. Sorry, things got a little heated, dude.
Let me
All
see.
right, say, baby, put the bag down.
Huh?
Baby, put the bag down.
What do you mean?
Wait, was that the whole fucking clip?
No, let's see. There's gotta be.
Well, that one had 1 million views.
Here it
That
is,
can't-
here it
You the one that don't realize.
Here it is.
Okay.
You the one that don't realize where you at.
My people didn't realize where we were at when we were on that motherfucking boat. So give us that back too, motherfucker.
All right. Also,
Okay.
when they show the clip of Aries,
Yeah.
and you look at the lighting in the audience, it doesn't look like the same light that is on the person when
Yes.
he's filmed.
Yes.
So it looks like it's almost could be shot at
Pa-
different
in
shows.
post.
Yeah,
Oh. Yeah, shot like at a different time or something.
yeah.
That's super good point of like, he's in worse lighting than the audience member. Why does the
Yeah.
audience member have better lighting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless.
Because usually in normal stand-up, like comedy, it's kind of traditional. You turn the lights down
Yes.
because it helps. It makes the audience feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
It makes it feel more like, you know, a theater show type
Totally.
setup.
Yeah.
Where you are supposed to pay attention on the stage. You're not supposed to be looking at everyone in the crowd.
100%.
And when you make the lights brighter in a room, it does make the show worse. People feel more comfortable talking for some reason. People feel more comfortable getting on their phone.
You know what's funny? I don't feel that way.
Really?
I like seeing the audience.
I do
actually
too.
legitimately panic when I can't see the audience.
Really?
I like seeing the audience. It actually scares the shit out of me when I can't see the audience.
That's crazy because you're a podcaster.
I know. It's like, but it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, but well, at least like I'm looking at you, you know?
Yeah, you have someone to bounce something off of.
Because when I've done club shows and I can see the front row, and clearly the front row hates it because they're looking at my dick the whole time, you know, like they're not doing anything. But then I hear like weird disembodied laughs happening. Like, you know, it's just like, it's such a weird feeling that it's like literally throwing me off my game. Whereas like when in the Glendale room, it's
This
like,
is why you put quotations around comedian for yourself.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh, you're scaring me.
yeah. But yeah, I'm more of a horror clown. Whereas like the Glendale room, I like that intimate thing where like the light is, I can still see enough to where I can see the people and I can like, oh yeah, you didn't like that. I can call them out a little bit and have fun.
Well,
like,
in certain rooms like that, it's such a small room that if it was super dark in the audience, it would make it weird.
yeah. No, well, yeah.
There's certain rooms that like you couldn't have the lights down that much without it creating like a different type of vibe.
I think it's like legitimately a little bit of, and again, this is a self-diagnosis because of, you know, discovering this about myself, a little bit of like some autism where I like need to like, do you like me? You know, like the little bit of like my masking of like, I need eye contact.
You need the visual confirmation that they like you in addition to the laughs.
I need to like see their whole face to like read them or whatever. Anyways, I feel like this is a little staged.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep watching. I honestly forgot we were in the middle of watching this clip.
People didn't realize where we were at when we were on that motherfucking boat.
The reaction
give us that
shot.
back too, motherfucker. He really thought he said some just now.
I did.
No, you didn't, motherfucker.
I did.
Did you hear the audience laugh when you said what you
Don't
said?
matter what I said.
It does matter. And you
Know where you at?
You screaming don't make you right, sucker. I can feel that white rage coming through. You know where you at now?
Yeah, I mean, this guy is extremely racist.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can tell,
yeah.
right? And I could tell he was extremely racist from that first clip we accidentally watched where he's like, I love you, man.
Yeah.
I come to see you all the time. I got one black friend, I swear.
It's also to be that well lit and then to be that racist as well.
And again, now that I'm seeing it, he's so well lit that it's affecting the light that's on Aries.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, maybe this is one of those clubs that there's a spotlight, and then the spotlight.
They
moved
told
on to
them to move the spotlight to the crowd for this filming of the clip.
It's so wild.
Let's keep going.
Out of here. Hey. Let's smoke a peace pipe. Let's make some peace. I got it, baby. Felt like a Klan rally. Get out!
This is a classic Ragebait crowd work clip because nothing really happens.
Exactly.
There's no joke or anything. It's just there was racial tension at this comedy show.
And he called him a motherfucker.
Yeah. And implied that he was racist, which he seems like he is. Remember where you're at.
Another one I saw recently where it was like too pro, Zionist. I was like, this guy's famously pro-Palestine. Why are these Zionists
at the show
to heckle him? Just like, come on, guys. Like,
I've never wanted to pay to go to something so I could heckle.
yeah, like I'll do it to a politician maybe.
If it was free,
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay to go heckle someone.
Why do it at a comedy show? Go do it to somebody with power,
Comedy shows attract crazy people. And I think partly because these fucking crowd work clips, now
Yes.
people think they are part of the show or want to be part of the show.
Yes.
I did a show recently where no one wanted to sit in the front row, which
Yeah.
is normal.
Totally normal.
Because they're scared they're going to get made fun of or whatever.
Yeah.
Not a single comic did crowd work. No one on the show is the type of comic that goes up and does crowd work and makes fun of people. But like people were deathly afraid to sit in the front row. And it was like, the best seats in the house are not taken because people are scared.
Well, is it the best seats in the house? Because famously people do, pick on the front row.
Visually it is the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't like you're on a super high stage. This is like you're closer to the comic.
Yeah.
No one's in your way.
As a comedy fan, before you've ever done comedy, would you sit in the front row?
I would be scared to because I didn't know. Before I started comedy,
I
I'd
are scared.
only ever been to 2 comedy shows.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't really have the chance to be set in the front row at either.
What
of
were
them.
the shows? Do you know?
My first one was a Comedy Central did a tour with Lewis Black and Dave Attell with Mitch Hedberg opening.
Oh my God. Just legends?
Yeah.
Absolute legend. My
When I
first
was
show
like
was
16.
was a fucking clown juggler in a cruise.
Yeah.
A carnival cruise.
And the next show I saw was, I think it was a album taping of a local Austin comic.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Ramin Nazir, I think is how you say his name. He doesn't do comedy anymore. He makes like meme drawings.
Okay.
But I think he's more successful at doing that financially.
Follow your passion. Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, if you used to do crowd work, it used to be like, it's because you don't have material or your material's not working.
See, yeah.
And now it's like there's guys who go specifically
Just to do crowd work. I do crowd work so I do a show every Wednesday at a bar in front of drunk people. And I do crowd work specifically to get them to listen to me.
You have to in some situations.
You have to.
You have to.
The 100%, what do you do? Okay, cool. Gonna laugh at you.
At a bar show, it makes so much sense.
You
At a
have
club
to.
show where
Yeah.
everyone's paying attention.
100%.
And also, like, people love it. Again,
Yes.
people love it. So I can't be like, fuck that.
No.
It sucks.
Oh, no. I'm not taking any insult. I think there's an art form to. I don't know if it's like an art. I don't think it's an art form. It's a survival strategy for me. I don't think I like doing it. Mainly because again, maybe it's that connection thing. Like I like to feel connected to the audience. For me, I like to know who I'm talking to. It's like, maybe it's because it's the podcaster in me. Like I like to connect. I will literally suggest when people come to do the show, I'm like, talk to the audience. Even if you're not a crowd work person, just ask them what they'll do. Will listen to you because these people are drunk. They're trying to fuck And if you talk to them for like 2 seconds, they will listen to your joke that much longer. You know, it's like a TikTok strategy. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just getting them to pay attention for a little bit more. And, you know, and if they start waning, hey, you know, you shine a flashy light to them. And that's all I suggest to do. And it works for the most time.
It does.
And then, and unless, you know, you talk to
the wrong person.
The wrong person who is just, oh, you're a crazy person.
You're too drunk.
You're too drunk.
You don't understand the situation.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand any situation you'd be put into right now because you're so drunk.
Are you like a good at crowd work? Do you ever do it at all?
I used to do it a lot. Back in Austin, I would do it all the time, and it felt like a stylistic choice more so. Because in Austin, also, you can be a looser comic. They don't expect you to have a punchline every fucking 30 seconds
Really?
like they do in LA.
You're pretty tight. You tell stories. You do quick stuff. You're like, yeah.
And that's from, unfortunately, the style that I've developed from doing so many short sets in LA.
Yes.
You end up doing more jokes like that. Because if you try to be like a loose comic, you have like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going to be loose for 3 minutes of your set.
Literally, that's my problem right now.
Yeah.
I can't do 5-minute sets. I like being loose. I can't. Yeah.
And I would go in and do these sets. And I would purposely be doing jokes and then between the jokes, talk to an audience member for a second or just riff for a second and then use that to weave into my next joke.
Yeah.
And when you have like 10 to 15 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah.
And once people realize you're going to be there for a minute, they're more willing to like be like, okay, well, let's listen to what he has to say.
Yeah.
Whether they know when you're getting out of there between 3 and 5 minutes, they're like, hurry the fuck up and just get to the point.
Kind of, yeah.
So stylistically, I had to change when I moved to LA. I did so much crowd work that I got to a point where I was like, this is clearly a crutch. And maybe not a bad crutch, but it's going to prevent me from taking writing more seriously.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I am, you know, as you do comedy, you become a better writer just by doing it over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I feel like knowing that I couldn't just straight lean into talking to people at shows made me a stronger comic, you know, writing wise.
Yeah.
Because I can't just go up there and depend on like a cool vibe. Like in Austin too, I don't know what Austin's like nowadays or what it's been like since the pandemic.
Right.
Because it used to be like an alt scene.
Yeah.
Like the
I
entire
bet.
scene was an alt scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Now it's all shock value and
Now
shit.
it's all shock value.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
And if you were that type of comic before in Austin, you kind of wouldn't get booked. You wouldn't be made to feel welcome at mics. You wouldn't,
That's
you know,
crazy.
and there were mics where more of that type of comic went, but like the successful comics in Austin would not go to the shock value mics or
crazy.
shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely flipped there now to where the shock comics have taken over the city. But it's not the ones that were there.
Well, now
it's
that
the ones that moved to Austin.
Yeah. To speak on your like tightness, like Los Angeles is a showcase town.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're so used to being like showcase. We're all here to, you know, film our pilot and make connections.
Do
We're
10
all
minutes.
going back
Tightest
to
10 you can.
Yeah, going back to the Comedy Store, we were all there to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was there. That's why I didn't like being at the Comedy Store because I was like, I'm not ready to be seen. I'm doing stupid jokes. I don't even like my material.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be seen here yet. I remember like doing a set at the Comedy Store. I was like, I fucking hate this. I don't like this. I'm not ready yet, you know? And
you're not the only one who feels that way. I talked to a comic
currently now about me, you know?
I was talking to a comic earlier this week that said they're scared to go to the Comedy Store just because it's overwhelming.
Yeah. It is, man.
Yeah.
It is. But it's funny because now when I go back, I'm like, oh, yeah, there's my friend on the wall. My friend is the piano player now. Like it's, you know, taking a break and stuff.
If you've done comedy for a long time and then you end up going to a club in LA, you'll be like, damn, I know half the door guys here now.
Yeah.
Or I know the people who get paid to perform here all the time now. So you do feel like less of an outsider.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know, it just takes 8 years with all your friends achieving stuff for you to get there.
Well, it's like we were talking about last week of like, you know, you just hang in there until everybody fails or goes crazy, which is like, that's also the other problem of
God
with comedy is there's unfortunately an abhorrent amount of crazy people, but not just in the audience, but also on stage. I mean, this man is. I mean, there's a really famous clip, I think in one stand-up documentary where a man tries to rush the stage with a guy with a guitar.
Oh, I've
and he
seen
fucking
that.
clocks him. And the guy takes him off and just fucking takes his guitar off and just clocks him with the guitar.
Because I don't come down to the bus station and slap the dick out of your mouth when you're working, do I? Oh, get on up here, motherfucker! Give me security.
And the audience member was like, "Hey, man," and he was just like, "What?"
He
was trying to
came
rush
at
the
me,
stage.
and the audience is like, "No, that was not an appropriate response."
I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
I've seen another clip of a comic who is crazy uploaded a fight that he got into while he was on stage.
What?
Yeah, and it was just like him talking shit to an audience member doing it back. It got to the
What?
point where they were both very angry, and
And he uploaded it?
yeah,
And he was hoping to go viral.
I
with it?
think so. And it wasn't even good footage. You couldn't even see it that well. It wasn't like that amazing of a fight.
That's the craziest part about this as well, is that like there's a lot of mentally unwell people in the stand-up comedy world. But then on top of that, stand-up comedians are also trying to be influencers as well. So the grind on top of the mental unhealth, on top of being a comedian. So not only are they having mental breakdowns, but then they're documenting it and then putting it through a captions app and then uploading it to their Instagram story.
I think about this all the time, and it's not even just people like that. It's people that like you were saying, they do like Ragebait, like a reaction-based, engagement-based posting.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll just make a video of themselves saying the dumbest shit in the world, where they literally look like an idiot, and they put it online.
Yeah, yeah.
And they I don't think they're thinking about the future.
Oh.
But it's like, dude, there's just going to be like 500 videos of you saying the dumbest shit in the world. And everyone is just going to look at that and be like, well, this person's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, well, they're just doing rage bait for their career. And, you know, they really thought it would help. And now there's just a bunch of videos of them supporting concentration camps. It's just like, they're not thinking it through.
No, yeah, it's totally like the short term. It's not, they're thinking of it as a sprint, not a marathon sort of thing.
And I think that happens with comedy too.
Yeah.
And the thing about art in general is it helps to not have a normal brain. Like the type of brain you would have to end up being a doctor or something like that, to where you're really good at memorizing facts and putting together things from what you know. And you really need to have things in order in a correct fashion. Like the type of brain to do that isn't going to be able to do comedy at a good level.
You know, okay. I think I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
With this.
Kim Jong.
No. Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I think there's funny people on all levels. The only difference is, and this is dark, is that one of them got touched or beaten too hard that they needed some form of expression. They didn't be like, yeah, I need to talk to somebody about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, that's the difference. They needed to like some form of emotional outlet, so much so that it was bursting out of them that it's like, oh, cool. Like I literally can't do anything else.
Well, a doctor might be smart enough to put together like, oh, perhaps I need therapy for this thing. Perhaps I need a medical situation that could help with
Some
this.
people are like, oh, I should go into therapy so I can help other people like me. And some other people are like, I should make dick jokes, you know, like because I got my dick touched once, you know, like that's how that works.
But yeah, I just don't think that you need an off-kilter brain to to have that. Because, yeah, sure, there's plenty of doctors who have been touched or had fucked up lives or something. I just don't think you're going to see someone who's a good doctor who could also do stand-up at a high level.
Yeah, Ken Jeong,
I don't
fuck
think
you, dude.
I
You're
don't
not
think
funny.
No, you're just a bad doctor. You're just a terrible doctor.
Let's be honest. He's probably a bad doctor.
Gynecologist.
Was he a gynecologist? Oh,
yeah.
everything I've heard about this guy, to be honest with you, not good. Let's be real.
I don't know much about him, but
Not much about him, but the things I've heard about him, not good.
male gynecologist is always
Well,
as a straight man, there's nothing I would want to do less than look at women's nasty vaginas.
okay.
Potentially.
Well, I'm not even that. I'm just the bro of like, what if I had to be a doctor, I'm gonna look at vaginas all day. It's such a meathead vibe, right?
Yeah.
But everything I have, just like, on the deep Hollywood circles, everything I have heard about Ken Jeong is that he's not a good dude. He's kind of a piece of shit. And
That happens with a lot of comedians who become successful in other ways.
and him being a male gynecologist is like, yeah, all right.
Here's the thing I hate. The bit of advice I hate in comedy is they're always like, you got to be nice to everyone, man. You just be nice.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way it works. And then you meet so many people who are successful who are just dickheads.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
When did that wait?
When was this guy being nice?
It's like, and then all that is like, it's like the Bible saying the meek will inherit the earth. And it's like, oh, you just said that so that the greedy capitalists could take over.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was a controlling method.
Mhm.
You wanted, that was so the assholes could take over Hollywood. You son of a bitch. You got me.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
And then, you just hear stories of people like that. Michael Rappaport, somebody told me that he was having other people take off and put on his shoes on set. Yeah. It's just like, that's the kind of thing you hear in Hollywood. You're like, they treat people like shit, and you don't understand the extent of it. So where like somebody like Michael Rappaport, who's like,
hey, you fucking douchebag.
if you lost him from the entertainment industry, you wouldn't be missing much. Let's be honest.
Who's just famous now for yelling at Trump while he's walking through the streets of New York, yelling
while
at
also
his
voting
phone.
for Trump.
Yeah.
Anyways, when you hear about people treating people like shit, you think of it as like, Ellen DeGeneres like screaming cuss words.
Yeah.
You don't think of it as somebody's like, hey, minimum wage employee, come take off my shoes and put on my new ones and tie them.
Okay.
You have to,
Let's
or
be
you're
real.
fired.
Let's be real. Okay. If you get famous,
Yeah.
what's the dickhead thing you're going to do? Let's be honest.
No, just be a dick to everyone.
But,
right?
like,
That's the thing they all
Okay,
do.
but like, having someone take your shoes off and on.
That
Right.
would be uncomfortable
That
for
would-
me.
okay.
I feel like I'm better at putting on my own shoes than someone else would be.
To be honest, hate bending over. Hate it. Hate it.
You just want to sit in a chair.
I hate one of the worst feelings in the world.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Using
It's
your hands. Why would you do that? That's for poor people.
I don't go anything below the line.
Yeah.
I'm not even classist. It's just I've risen above, But if there was one thing, like somebody puts on your shirt for you or something like that, or like
Something I just hate doing myself.
like washing your car for you,
I mean, yeah, of course you'd want people to just do all the
like cook your food.
menial tasks.
Okay,
Yeah. Of course you're gonna want the maid. You're gonna want.
You want
and
a
if she
human
leaves
maid.
one speck of dust, you gotta fucking scream at her. You got to get in her face and be like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is this? I pay you $15 a fucking hour."
And of course, by then it's going to be a Tesla robot that's going to do that. That way we can yell at them all they want,
Mhm.
all we want.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, I wouldn't want to do any of the basic day-to-day necessity stuff that just
Yes.
is annoying, like doing laundry or
I'm gonna have
something.
them-
But
yeah.
I feel like that's different than being on set, like at your job, getting paid and being like, "Put on my shoes." You literally I'm not even paying you.
But what?
I'm
okay,
not the one writing your check, but you have to put on my shoes.
This is me being like the celebrity figure. But what if they were like really hard shoes to get on? What if they had like 7 straps?
Yeah, look,
on?
I mean, if it's Ariana Grande and she's wearing knee-high, strapped,
they're like-
buttoned, zippered boots,
They're
yeah,
like
get some
Edward
help.
Scissored hand
Get
boots.
some fucking help. But
They're like 7 things.
But
yeah.
they also don't understand people who dress like that do have a team of people who are like adjusting every angle of the
Yeah.
fabric and, you know.
It's in my writer.
But they have people who are paid to do that.
Yeah.
They're not taking some PA whose job is to like direct people to the set and just being like, yo, these shoes are my set shoes. Take them the fuck off. I want my normal shoes on for when I walk out of here.
That's terrible behavior. But every rich person I've ever met, though, is a piece of shit, though.
Really?
Yeah, every rich person I've ever met, you know, I've met Elon, right?
Best friends.
We're best friends. And I met, and he was a piece of shit. I met his best friend. Not a good person. Like,
I don't know that many rich people.
I unfortunately do.
Really?
I unfortunately do. I grew up with rich people. We moved into a town of rich people.
Mhm.
My dad busted his ass to live in that town and
To work for rich people.
to live amongst them.
Mhm.
We were implanted, embedded among them, and they were not good. They would buy themselves status among
noticed
themselves.
that rich people I know in LA who are usually like comics who grew up rich and maybe don't have money anymore, but they grew up with the attitude that they're rich.
Yeah.
They don't want to do any of the like normal things that people do, like clean up after themselves or, you know,
Yeah.
shit, really like
100%.
you'll see people go to like a venue where they have comedy and they'll just kind of treat it like shit. They'll complain about it not being nice enough and stuff like that. That's another thing I notice the rich people do is they complain about things not being nice enough. When it's something that I'm always just like, that's normal. The thing that we're looking at is normal, and you're like finding some major issues with it.
Well, and I've also worked for like restaurants where rich people are
They're cunts.
the absolute assholes, where they would just be like, "Where's my Tabasco?" And they would just walk into the kitchen. It's like, whoa, like there's just no rules for these people.
Oh, those people specifically, you can tell when somebody grew up with too much money because they don't respect service industry employees.
100%.
And it's not like they're like,
Yes.
fuck them.
Yeah,
They're below me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if they have any inconvenience at all, they instantly are like, fuck them. They're below me.
You know what's wild to me? And it's like, this is where my classism is where it was like, when I would work at USC, and, you know, obviously and we would work at like the fundraiser events. And so there would be a bunch of rich people in the audience and shit. And me thinking I'm the AV tech and I'm like, you know, using my brain, but also kind of my body to like haul shit on my brain. Cause I'm like fucking engineering like sound and video and lights and shit. And like calculating how much electricity to fucking send and all this shit. Like making sure no one fucking dies of being electrocuted and shit. And me thinking I'm literally an audio engineer, right? I'm a bit of a scientist,
A doctor.
yeah,
I would say.
a Ken Jeong, if you will.
Yeah, you have a master's degree.
Yeah. And I remember these USC rich people would treat us as if like, they would be like, oh, here. And they would hand me their food platter as if I was like a waiter. And I would be like,
they're trash
Like
they're
I'm-
trying to get rid of.
I'm like the busser,
yeah.
the server. And look at me and I'd be like, ugh, the server? As if I was better than the server too.
No, I totally get that.
But I was
get
also
that.
literally, I'm dressed like the server. I'm dressed in all in black. I'm in slacks.
And they
just
have
like all of them.
they have the same attitude towards you as like if the lights weren't right, if there's any technical issue,
Yeah.
they'd be like, just do your fucking job.
Yeah,
if you were
exactly.
smart, everything would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like they don't know what I'm doing, but I'm literally me thinking I'm like better than I'm better than that piece of shit. No,
Yeah.
I have this. You know, like no.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so. But literally, like it's just like I don't know. I'm reading this book called Red Rising right now.
You're
So-
communist now.
Yeah, literally that. Oh man, it's so good though. It's a sci-fi book. It's so good, guys. Read Red
Guys,
Rising.
We're a reading podcast, first and foremost. We're a book recommendation podcast. People are like, that was a wild book recommendation.
There's somebody that I know that was unhoused for a little while. And
Oh boy, if you go to the Comedy Store, you're going to be dealing with unhoused comedians
Really?
that you don't even know are unhoused.
You know what's
You
funny?
won't know that until they tell you, and then you're like, what the fuck?
You know what's funny about this? I was thinking about this, like, so there, we know somebody who was unhoused, used to go to the PDA space before it burned down all the time. And he recently started showing up at another club, and he's saying that he has a house now.
That's good.
Which is awesome.
Because one of the last things he was saying before it burned down was, I'm going to get a house.
Yes.
And then Altadena burned down. And I was like, I don't know if he's getting that house anymore.
And he's in place. He's got a new place.
That's
and he's doing
awesome.
great. And I was just like, oh, that's awesome. And it's like, what a unique story. And it was like, oh, wait, Los Angeles is a town famously known for people coming here and chasing something. It's okay to come here and be homeless for a second.
It's insane.
It's actually on top of like chasing the artist thing and all the dream of it. It's actually 100% acceptable to be a homeless on top of that too.
Mhm. But the thing is, it's not not acceptable. It's only acceptable if there's a part of the story that's like, I spent like 6 months living in my car, but then I got this job and it paid me and my life turned around.
And so
there's people that only do the first part.
Yeah, 100%. And then we talk about how Los Angeles has a homeless crisis and now there's a fucking dirt town. It's like, well, yeah, think about all the movies and all the stories of like, I just popped in my car for $2 and I chased my dream. I'm like, yeah, it's a marketing problem, guys. Like, we've been doing, like, we kind of did this to ourselves.
I'm sure that you can't get real statistics on it, but I would like to know the amount of people who moved here to be in entertainment that ended up living in their car or on the streets. It's probably bigger than you would think.
And then you know what made me think of this? So I was thinking about this, like, oh, congratulations to that guy. And like, that's such a unique story. It's like, no, actually, I had somebody on my podcast, London Smith. We did a podcast episode in his car because he moved out here to pursue his dream, and he was living in his car, partly in his car.
Yeah.
And this is what people do. And he's moving back and forth, and like, he's working and shit like that. And, I was doing some research on this because you and I had been speaking about the homelessness crisis in LA, and it's just, you ride the bus, and now it's just like there's all this crazy stuff. There's the amount of homeless hate we have in California or in LA specifically is so much. Joe Rogan talks about, well, I'm moving out of here. So much crazy stuff.
That's always what I love is the people like Joe Rogan who live nowhere near homeless people purposely move into a neighborhood where like if a homeless person showed up, you could call the cops and the cops would come
immediately,
and their problem with the homeless is like, I had to drive past a homeless person and it made me sad.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
That's your fucking issue?
Yeah. And a friend of ours posted a really funny clip really recently that I think really describes the LA experience of it.
Yeah. He talked about how a line full of people for coffee were getting yelled at by a homeless person about how he could stab all of them, and they all just stood there without even they were also desensitized to the threat of violence.
Yes.
Or desensitized to the fact that they could do nothing about it.
Yeah.
That they're just letting somebody do something that is absolutely an issue.
100%.
That would, in 90% of America, you would go to jail for terroristic threats.
100%.
If you were on a street corner yelling that you're going to stab people.
In Europe, you would go to jail. But in England, they would be like, you're going to jail.
In Los Angeles, and I hate to say homeless people are above the law, but there is a different set of laws that apply to the homeless.
Well, yeah.
Like if you went outside right here and started screaming, I'm going to stab people outside in this neighborhood, someone would call the cops.
Yeah.
And the cops would show up.
Right.
And when they found out you had a home, they would treat you different. They would treat you as someone who's committing a crime.
Oh.
Whereas if a homeless person was doing that, they'd be like, dude, you need to get out of here.
Go down the street.
Because cops don't like dealing with the homeless people either.
Huh.
They legitimately don't. They don't want to have a stinky homeless person in the back of their car while they're driving
Interesting.
them. They don't want to have to deal with a mentally ill person while they're trying to do all the paperwork and bullshit they have to do for their job.
It's got to be because of the political pressure to like how to deal with them and all that stuff like that, right? Like they just don't want to deal with the headache of like how you treated a homeless person.
Well, it's like a
and the
waste
mentally
well, it's like a waste of their time. But then there's the other bullshit side of it where this like, we just need to have empathy. We need to have compassion. We don't need to have empathy or compassion for people screaming violent stuff.
100%.
We absolutely do not need that. And the fact that we're desensitized and do nothing to it while also living in an extremely violent nation is crazy.
Well, okay, so I did a little bit of research to talk about this today. And
We love to do our own research here.
Love it. You know what's funny is that the one thing I noticed, and I want to jump to this real quick. It's funny talking about all of this, the homeless stuff in LA. Just Google searching homelessness LA.
Oh God, yeah.
Like on YouTube, like all of these 1.9 million, 47,000, like these, Finland, like solved it, like.
Well, I mean,
like the crisis of homelessness in LA.
This is like a clickbait thing online now.
Speaking of Ragebait,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Speaking of Ragebait,
we should do some Ragebait before we stop the podcast today.
Yeah, totally.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I wonder what we could do.
I already got a good idea.
Oh, sick.
Let's do it right now.
Okay.
Dude, here's the thing. If you're the kind of person that sits around and watches short form podcast clips, like you're not going to do shit in your life. Let's be honest. Like you're on your home watching podcast clips on home. You're never going to go out and achieve. You're never going to like meet someone you like and they're going to love you and marry you.
Hey man, that's not true. People love people. This is what you wanted, right?
No, I want you to agree with me. We both got to be dickheads here.
Yeah, I mean, the people that watch short form content are such fucking idiots, though.
It's like it just makes your brain dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. It's like, how could you even do that?
Like,
why would you even log on your phone with the purpose to do that?
Like, don't you realize you're being manipulated by billionaires who have a clear interest of trying to make you more angry so you make stupider decisions so that you buy something with the sponsored ad so you get distracted?
You think you're going to be smart and be like, well, then why are you making a podcast? Yeah, because you're an idiot. You just responded to it. Thanks, idiot.
Well, because I'm also an idiot too. I got tricked into doing Ragebait because I was like, oh, I'm clearly entertained. I have opinions. I'm also white, so I'm going to start a podcast. So yeah, you should also start one too if you're fucking so mad. Come at me, bro.
Just come at us. Come at us in the comments. Thumbs down this. You think I give a shit? You're a loser. You're watching short form podcast clips.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, I think out of that we could get some engagement out of that content right there. Somebody will be dumb enough to be like, well, these guys are doing the thing they say they shouldn't do. Because that's like half the rage bait there is. It's just somebody being a complete hypocrite.
Yeah, it's always, they're like the way they end it too. It's always like, stop watching short form content. And also, you should check out Just for Hymns. Just for Hymns medication. It'll make your hairline super smooth and silky and your dick hard.
Well, that's one of the funniest things. One time I was watching clips from this guy who just is like a steroid freak with tattoos and a beard, and he just yells at you to wake up, get out of bed, and stop being a bitch. Stop being a fucking bitch. And it's just a bunch of videos like that. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why does he have so much confidence to give life coach advice?
Yeah.
You know what he does?
What?
He's a guy who sells gift cards for personal training sessions. And he's just like on steroids, being like, you need to quit being a bitch. Quit being a bitch.
What a
and
great
buy
job.
a gift card from me. Like, what the fuck? You'd have to be such an idiot to fall for that, but clearly it works because he's got a ton of videos with a bunch of likes. Because some people are so dumb that I think they do respond to being like, well, I'm not a bitch. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get money today.
No, that's what I'm saying. People do get tricked, man. They get thrown off their guard from like being angry, and that like, dude, we're getting total CIA like psyoped on social media for sure. I 100% believe that
we do our own research on psyops here.
The social, I 100% believe those social media execs were standing behind Trump to be like, we got his back. We are going to fucking ratchet up the anger discourse. they are actively trying to make us mad, to make us like, one, to scare us, to control us, to make us like afraid of what he can do, and to like literally isolate us, to make us afraid and maybe buy more products, to, you know, buy more stock, or to like feel less connected. I legitimately feel like I need a break from social media with reality. You know what I mean? Like I used to need social media to break from reality. Like I legitimately need to put my phone down and like talk to people, which is why like I like stand up and doing crowd work and stuff. So I can like, hey,
this country's so rough. I just got to do some crowd work to get my mind off some shit, folks.
It's like, what do you
do for work?
What do you do for work? Oh wait, you're fired. Oh wait, you work for Doge. Ah, never mind.
You're an ICE agent. God damn it.
God damn it. But like, I literally do feel that like, anyways, like their work. I do feel like we're being like ratcheted up so that we can like be manipulated a little bit, because it's like you get angry and just like you lose a little bit of your critical thinking skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And people who are in marketing and sales are smart enough to realize that.
Oh yeah.
When I was younger, and I was a kid, so I don't have a full realization of the world, but fear mongering was a lot different. It would be like
back in my day,
but seriously, you'd be watching the local news and they'd be like, is there an ingredient in something in your house that could be killing you? Watch the news at 6 p.m. and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I have to watch the news
at 6 p.m.
There's something that might be killing me inside my own house.
And then now it's just like, knock, knock. This shit's gonna fucking kill you. Don't fucking eat it. And it's just like, oh God. And then it's like, these are all the things. And then it's like immediately there's a cell phone. It's literally knocking in your face, and it's somebody you trust, and it's like your favorite. It's Matt Rife saying this to you, and this is why you should get his water. Saying that to you.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. It used to be something might kill you at home, and now it's like you're gonna get attacked by a random person on the street and die. You're not even safe to go outside of your home.
That's true.
You're better in home with the chemicals.
Oh yeah, okay, that is the difference of like, is this safe to drink? Find out at 6. Whereas like now it's like, a man who's sitting in a trailer in Austin, Texas, who's getting paid $250 million a year is just like, I don't know, man. I feel like we probably should deport all the illegal aliens because they're all rapists. And it's like, yep.
Yeah, no one argues. They're just like,
yep.
Well, someone said it.
It's
so
like, that's
why not?
It. And then Joe Rogan's like, that's interesting.
Here's the thing: if you're watching a fucking short form podcast clip, you're just gonna see two guys talking, and then you're gonna take their opinions. Later, you're gonna regurgitate it like it's your own opinion. Like, oh, you're so smart. You watch a short form video. No, you're an idiot. The fact that you're repeating what I'm saying like it's your own opinion, that makes you stupid.
Yeah.
When you do that to other people, that makes you stupid. The fact that you're watching these videos makes you stupid. Edit that into that part.
Yeah. Definitely. That's a good one. That's a good one. And we're adding captions here to make you slightly more literate, you fucking illiterate piece of shit.
Yeah, it's not just to keep your attention. It's because you forgot how to read.
Yeah, we're doing you a favor, you fucking second grader.
That was the only part of Twitter you could say was better. Was that like people were forced to actually read as opposed to TikTok and Instagram where they're just looking at a picture or video. At least on Twitter, you had to read the fucked up thing.
That is the ironic part of like, there's a bunch of Nazis on Twitter. It's like, well, they're literate. They're literate. I guess. They're writing. They're writing. All right. Well, just to finish my point real quick, back to the Ragebait of the homelessness is I look at all these views for LA, right? Which is like, and everybody, it's kind of the consensus of all the, all these documentaries, like at least what they say is like, there's a mental health crisis. All these homeless people are fucking mental health.
True.
Which, Sam, I'm going to disagree with you.
You don't think they're mentally ill?
No, I think some of them are. This is true. And, I think it is a misconception. Those are the loud ones we see. There's plenty of quiet, unhoused people that just live in the shadows that are not trying to harm anybody, They're still like, they're out there and they're filling the streets. Here's the dangerous ones for sure.
No, I understand what you're saying. Here's my thing about what you're saying, which I do agree with, because I'm on the bus sometimes with the guy who's screaming he's going to stab everyone.
Yeah.
And then multiple other people are on the bus who are just minding their own business. They may have garbage bags full of trash with them.
Yeah, and they also might be homeless too. Yeah.
They smell like shit. They're definitely homeless. But here's the thing. If you are homeless and you're staying homeless,
oh yeah,
you have a mental health problem. You have a mental health problem to the point where you're like, you think it's okay to be homeless. Like you think that's a life that's fine to live. Because I live in a bad neighborhood. I see these same homeless people all the time. And I look at them and I'm like, yeah, you're quiet. You don't bother anybody, but you have the meth pipe in your hand every time I walk past you. Right. So it's like, you may not be like a outward nuisance to anyone who walks by, but you have a mental illness issue. There's something about you, as somebody who'd be like, well, I'm fine with just living on the streets next to the rats.
What if I were to say to you, homelessness is a traumatizing event?
Yeah.
So as you're experiencing it, you are becoming mentally unwell.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a perpetuating cycle, right?
No, I definitely agree. But then also we know that guy, Wade, let's just say his name. He was very open about his homelessness.
Oh, sure.
He has housing now.
Yeah.
When he was on his way to housing, he would talk about the homeless people that do drugs like they are idiots and bad people.
Yeah.
Because he knows they are.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, even though he is crazy, he'll admit he's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows he has what it takes and what he needs to do to get into housing. And he has done that.
Right.
So even though he fell into it, he got probably more depressed, more mentally unstable. But he pulled himself out of it also.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say he could have just done it at any time, but a lot of these people probably do hit a point where they could start to crawl out of it. Because I see a guy around my house all the time. He's just a tweaker. He's never going to stop being a tweaker. He doesn't want to stop being a tweaker. You could tell. He's like became fine with his life as being a street walking tweaker. and it's like, that's not... There's something going on in your brain then also to be like, because I used to do drugs too and be a big drunk. It's like you hit a point where you're like,
there's a rock bottom for everybody.
This is fucking my shit up.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a rock bottom for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is me Googling LA mental health crisis, right? The same sort of search, way less views, which is so interesting to me because it's like if people are more interested in the problem rather than the solution, right? Which is so interesting to me. Of like,
they just want to see videos of crazy homeless people doing crazy things.
I think it's rage baiting. It's people wanting to dunk on LA.
When you see a homeless person attacking someone, look how often that it's a video of a person of color attacking a white person.
Oh, yeah.
They love those videos.
Oh, 100%.
Those are like the number one racist rage bait videos.
So I found this video, Deconflating LA's Homelessness and a Mental Health Crisis. 222 views. So small. It's called Hammer Museum, I believe. It's actually like a super informative panel. I only made it through a little, but there's some really heavy hitters. Anyways, speaking of homeless people, this is a woman who was homeless talking about her experience that maybe might find enlightening here real quick.
My name is Cece Smith. I'm staying on this lot on the corner of Avenue 64 and Marmion Way. This is what it is. It is what it is. It's kind of difficult to be homeless out here, but I try to make the best of it.
Yeah, and you've been here for a while.
About 4 years.
What effect does living unhoused have on your mental health?
Oh, it has a tremendous strain of stress, A lot of the community They put homeless people down and this and that, and they don't realize what we go through. It's not as simple and easy as they think it is, because they've never been there. Like I've always said, if we had a major earthquake and all your homes were dropped and you became homeless, you guys would be coming to us. Hey, how do you guys do this? How are you surviving?
Which, by the way, this made me realize there's a lot of unhoused people happening right now in Altadena. There's somebody who recently started parking their trailer out front of our house. There's a guy who said free tacos. I don't know. Maybe he's hustling down the street from our house. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, like this is one of those things like the earthquake thing of like, oh shit, Pasadena is probably going to be experiencing a lot of homeless people in the next couple of months, kind of popping up tents.
From the Altadena fires,
yeah,
you think?
Yeah. They've probably ran their course for whatever couch they were surfing on.
Yeah, at some point FEMA just stops giving you money.
Yeah.
They're going to stop paying for your hotel and all that shit.
So we're probably going to be experiencing, and this is, I guess, why was trying to like talk about it, I think. And obviously too, because we let somebody stay in this podcast studio while the fires were, getting situated.
Hey man, in 6 weeks, you're going to get a call from me that's like, hey, Adam, can I sleep in the podcast studio? Unless I can get a fucking job soon. So believe me, I fucking empathize with these people completely.
And this studio is always welcome to any podcast guest as long as you put on my shoes for me whenever you want.
I'm going to wake you up in the middle of the night and be like, I need my shoes on right now.
I think the page that I'm on, if I wasn't on the page that I'm on, I would be a lot like a lot of the rest of them. A lot of these people out here have mental and medical issues. And nobody is bringing that to the plate. You can't just stick people in a cracker box and say, okay, look, there's no more homeless. I solved the problem. It don't work like that.
So there's not enough resources for people with medical or
over here. There's no resources at all.
A lot of people think that our mental health crisis and our homelessness crisis are one and the same, and that people are falling into homelessness because of mental health issues solely. But how do you break that down?
No, that is not true. A lot of homeless people get mental health problems because they're out here. For the most part, I mean, you got a few bad apples in the batch, okay? But for the most part, a lot of them go off the deep end because of being able to just survive out here is so hard. A lot of the community and homeowners think that none of us want help out here, that we're all drug addicts. That is not true. It's bullshit. The public, the community, the homeowners need to know the truth. If I get my voucher, no matter what, I'll get my 2 dogs and I'll walk till I drop, till I find a place. I don't want to be out here. I don't enjoy this. It's hard to do anything out here. Just to take a shower, even though I made one, to cook some food, it's 100 times harder than being indoors in a house that has a toilet that flushes, a shower, a tub, a sink, where you could put a refrigerator, have something cold. It's really difficult out here.
By the way, just found out recently, Los Angeles, there's $500 million of the homeless budget that is lost.
The amount of money that goes to people who are being paid to work these jobs, then it doesn't go to what it's supposed to fix.
Yeah.
These people are criminals.
I think it's like super relevant because the
money's being embezzled and stolen.
The FEMA water just shut down.
Where people could like shower and stuff.
It was shut down a few weeks ago. It's now being replaced with food now. So, more homeless people are going to be showing up. That lake center was already super, shuttle center was already super busy. Like I said, I'm just noticing it now. I'm not saying I'm worried about like my neighborhood, but
you should be. Dude, I used
I'm about to be the next NoHo.
Bro, here's the thing. Like people, and this is another thing that comes with have compassion, have empathy for the homeless people. There's homeless people living right outside my apartment.
Yeah.
And they were a rambunctious bunch of tweakers, right? And they had made a whole their forts. They were pretty fortified, But the thing is, they hoard garbage because they don't have garbage pickup, and they don't get rid of their garbage. There was rats everywhere.
Yeah.
These people get kicked out. There's like rats. You'd see them around the dumpster in my apartment. These people get kicked out. Guess what? No rats anymore. So these same people who started a fire before that caught part of my property on fire, like the trees and bushes, they set fires multiple times that caught stuff on my property on fire close to my apartment building. They brought in an infestation of rats. You can't say it's not a health and a safety issue.
Oh, yeah.
You and the thing is, this gets thrust onto the poor people.
Yeah.
Like where we are right now, like this, I could never afford to live here. Ever.
Yeah.
And unless you're letting me stay for free when I'm homeless in fucking 2 months.
Well, yeah,
I don't even have a car to sleep in, Adam. But the thing is, like, kids don't get allowed to play outside in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they can't because it's like, hey, kid, walk down the street. Oh, wait, you can't. You literally have to walk into traffic to walk down the sidewalk because some junkie with multiple dogs has set up a tent.
Yeah.
So that people now, somebody in a wheelchair couldn't get by. Kids who are walking by have to literally walk into the street. And I don't fully blame the homeless people because the government should solve this. And the lady talks about like not wanting to live in the cracker boxes. Fuck yeah, I agree. If they were just given a roof over the head, if they like bought several warehouses downtown and were like, hey, instead of the streets, you guys can live in the warehouse.
Yeah.
People would live in the warehouse.
That's the thing with like, Finland that they solved homelessness. They just were like, oh yeah, like you guys live inside. And you know what's funny? They got this idea from America. We just didn't do anything with it.
No, of course not.
It's so crazy.
But that's the thing is, like, literally, if we, as the rest of society who's not homeless, are sick of seeing the homeless on the street, we could literally give them a place that's not on the street.
100%.
And if we didn't put rules on it, like, hey, you can't bring in all this shit, then they would definitely go.
I think it's such a fucking difficult issue because one, it's like the thing we were saying with Josh's clip of like, in Hollywood, we got these like weird mix of crystal people who say we're the most empathetic, sensitive people, but then a fucking homeless person is literally crying for help and they don't do anything about it because it's like, I actually don't know how to handle it. I remember one time, like this is something I'll never forgive or forget. But I was hanging out with my very liberal friends. I literally created a TikTok channel with these people to fight against to be part of the rebellion. And we were like, doing it. And we were hanging outside of a club. This homeless person was starting, was being rambunctious. And they just were like, "Arr!" And I just went up to him and it was like, he had a fucking McDonald's in him. And I was just like, what are you eating? And I just had a conversation with him. And I remember one of them was just like, she was like, just, I don't know. She had her face. Couldn't even describe her face. Like she was scared. Granted, she's tiny. This man was bigger, my size, maybe a little bit taller. She was small. She could have been afraid, obviously. She was like so shut down because he asked her a question, like, and she just didn't even respond to him as if it was a person. Meanwhile, I was just talking to him. He was having a conversation with me, right? He was like, aware, like he was like clearly not well. He was not in the pocket, let's say. And the way that she shut down in front of him, didn't even acknowledge that he was a human. I was just like,
that tells you everything you need to know about that person.
Exactly. I was just like, that's
the most liberal
fucking
rich
such a
person.
Hypocrite to me.
Yeah. The most liberal rich person I know donates money to homeless shelters and stuff, but they would never in a million years interact with a homeless person unless it was fucking thrust upon them against their will.
And that's what I think you and I both, going to crowd work.
Oh, this guy was threatening this guy was threatening to stab everyone at the bus stop the other day. I started talking to him because he was threatening to stab me too. I started talking to him. We started having a very normal conversation.
Yes. And when
and then I was getting on the bus at the end and he was asking me for something and I was like, I gotta go, man. And then he starts going, I should fucking stab you. And when that happened, I was like, I should have thrown you in front of a car and gotten you killed. Like all that goodwill I just tried to put into you and being like, maybe you are human. Maybe you do it. Maybe you're just having a bad day. No, you're a piece of shit.
Okay,
Fuck you.
So let me do that too, because I did that before too. Because like again, like I've done the crowd. See, this is the thing. It's like this is I feel like you and I relate hard to is that we treat people like humans, right? Like I'll go up to strangers and talk to them. And
the
like,
worst thing you can do with a homeless person is not treat them like they're a human. They're more likely to lash out crazily on you if you do that.
Because they know that they and this is there's somebody right now who is everybody we know is trying to get them 5150'd. And I feel like
5250.
Yeah.
That's 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
And to me, it's like it's such a throwaway culture. And this is like again, it's like mental health, throw him away. He'll never be a problem again. It's like, no, it's just that's gonna cause another problem for this guy. Right. And it's like, has anybody actually tried to like help him? Right.
Sometimes they're unhelpable. Sometimes in their mental state,
but
all the help in the world could be right in front of them and they can't. And they
you
don't have the mental ability to realize why they should take it.
100%. And usually though, they don't want to, right? And usually that's the case. And I feel like, and I've experienced a crash out before, and I don't know if you have before, but it's just
Never.
like
I'm perfect.
where you kind of feel this level of like, it's like almost like it's like what a Karen feels like. I feel like of like, I was born for this. Everybody hates me. And I am experiencing my ultimate powers. Like, it's like you are almost, you are becoming the ugly person that you've always felt you were, even if you don't even actually believe it. And I feel like that's what this person is going through. I feel like even every homeless person is going through of like, they are so down on themselves because they hate themselves. There's a lot of deprecation and stuff like that.
And society starts also.
And then, they don't even treat them like could you imagine like you're not even looked at as a person? Like at a day to day, no one gives you eye contact.
Well, I go to the Comedy Store, so I know how this feels.
Like, I mean, not to like say like there's like I'm imagining an incel could feel a certain level of rebuke against society when they're not treated with a certain level of respect.
I think when things are going wrong in your life, you frequently want to have a point where you can be like, well, this is what went wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes the point is like, oh, this is
woman.
Yeah. This is who I need. There's a person I need to specifically blame for this.
And that's obviously with the guy we're talking, the person I'm mentioning, there's, that's its own issue. But that to say.
And you say that, but like, that person's not the only one who's doing this exact same thing right
100%.
now. I opened my Instagram earlier and some guy was going on a rant about open mic and
Really?
stuff. Yeah. He's not the only one who's on this shit always. And these two people aren't the only one who's on it.
Well, yeah.
It creates comedy is a thing too that you live and die set to set.
Oh,
because like you can't go on stage and bomb and then totally lie to yourself about it. So sometimes you'll go and bomb in like a no stakes situation.
Yeah,
like there's barely anyone there except other comics.
Yeah,
and you go and you feel like you want to just like die afterwards after bombing in front of like 6 people who also just bombed.
But
and then you're still like, man, my life, I suck. Why the fuck am I doing this?
The worst feeling is you bombing in front of the people that you were just laughing. You were doing the sympathy laugh for.
Yeah.
When you were the only one laughing for the crowd of 6 people, and then you go up and you realize that you were the one only sympathy laughing.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Well, that's
feeling.
when you do crowd work right there. When there's 6 comics and you're all bombing. You
Yeah.
start commenting on their bits and stuff like that.
But I've been threatened to people have threatened to stab me on stage and shit, which is probably why I'm putting this together. Maybe that's why I don't want to. Maybe that's why I want to see the audience. But just to go back of like treating people who on homeless people like humans, and that could be a dangerous game. And crash outs of like, the clubhouse, obviously. The clubhouse, right?
Love it.
Hate it. Fucking refuse. This is when I decided I'm fucking done with it. I was like, I'm not doing this. This place sucks. And it's also like classic LA.
I love it. I love the clubhouse, but you do have to accept that nothing works right there.
No, but
the audio sucks. There's 2 rooms. The audio system is basically broken in both of them.
Okay.
The rooms are always the wrong temperature.
They always smell weird.
If it's hot outside, the room's fucking abysmally hot. If it's cold outside, the room's freezing.
This is back when I think That Was Wild was still doing it at the clubhouse. It was early days. My friend Daryl Jim was rehearsing. Hilarious dude. I took
improv classes with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! And he was like on my improv team as far as like the That Was Wild team.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, he's like jammed with us.
I don't think I.
You should. Yeah.
I don't think I had met him when I saw that happening.
That's such a funny world. It's a small world.
And he's done stand up a couple times now.
Oh shit! Oh good. He's such
Shout
a funny
out to Daryl Jim.
Daryl Jim, hilarious dude. Such a funny dude. Also great at musical improv. So he was rehearsing a musical improv show right before our show. Anyways, the clubhouse is a kind of co-op ran club in this fucking very shady part of Little Armenia.
It's East Hollywood. Right on the borderline of East Hollywood and Los Feliz. Also very near where I get threatened to get stabbed off. Very close.
Yeah. Very.
1 block away.
Not a great neighborhood. And there's a lot of homeless people actually who.
It's where hospitals let out people who have nowhere to go, and then they go onto the street where there's Scientologists.
Yeah,
people trying to recruit them.
Scientology centers right there. KP or Kaiser Permanente's right there.
Hollywood Presbyterians right there.
Yeah.
Children's hospitals right there.
Yeah.
Bus station and train stations right there.
And then meanwhile,
one of the only Quiznos in town right there.
That's right. And meanwhile, one of the hippest neighborhoods is also right there too.
Once you go 2 blocks up, you'll never see a homeless person with a campground or anything, because those people will call the cops in a split second.
Literally so crazy. But and then right in the heart of that is this weird shopping center where this co-op ran comedy club is ran, where you literally need a passcode to enter. There's only one way to enter, and it's a passcode. There's no door guy. It's free. Most shows are free. All the shows are free, and you need a passcode to enter. And
if you're paying for a show at the clubhouse, you got fucked.
You got fucked up. Somebody fucked you over. But anyways, so we are, and obviously people get let in or whatever, or somebody comes in behind somebody. But most of the time, you need the code to enter. It is ran as a club. That's what's called clubhouse. So, anyways, we're waiting for Daryl Jim to be done singing their songs and stuff like that, and I'm sure they sounded lovely. But this homeless person who was particularly very loud out in the alleyway or out in the front of the club somehow makes it behind. It comes in as we're waiting in the lobby.
Which has happened many times at Clubhouse.
Yes.
Because what usually happens is the person we were just talking about, some liberal person who's scared of homeless people.
Yes.
Is not just going to be like, no, you can't come in here.
Well, so this is what happened.
Like a thing you do have to be firm with, like human beings. They're human beings still. You have to be like, no, this is not a place for you. You cannot come in here.
Okay, so
just like you would with a random person who's not homeless.
Exactly. Just like any person of like, okay, this person is probably not here to see comedy. But I was just like, I saw this person, saw it come in. I was like, I put my fucking brain cells together. I was like, this person is homeless. He's probably not here to see comedy. I watched him. Now I was like, do you need help with something? He's like, where's the bathroom? I was like, okay, he's going to use the bathroom. All right, I'm going to let him use the bathroom. The bathroom's this way. So saw him watched him go to the bathroom. Not literally go to the bathroom. But he goes to the bathroom area, go back to the lobby, comes out. What does he do? He walks into Daryl Jim's rehearsal. And I'm just like, oh shit. Like literally bull in a china shop. A homeless, like mentally unwell person going into
see Daryl Jim sing.
No.
That's so funny.
Not even Daryl, like a Broadway singing improv performance.
Yeah.
Rehearsal.
Yeah.
Not even like there wasn't even an audience. It was just like 6 people singing like dressed in like princess dresses and shit. Like it was like it was as if watching like literally a bowl in China stuff. It was like the Tasmanian devil. Like it was just like, oh my God. And I gave it a second and I heard some like, hey man, you got to get out. And like I heard some music. I heard the music kept going. It stopped for a second. And then it got going. And I hear this guy, hey man, I hear him yelling. I'm like, ah, shit. All right. Like, I go in there and he's standing in the audience, be like, you got to do it. And then like, they don't even know what to do. There's no one surrounding him. They are in
because they're confused as fuck.
They don't even put the lights on. They didn't even turn the lights on. I was just like, all right, man, you got to go. Come with me. Like, dude, you got to get out of here. Like, I'm literally taking it upon myself to like, you got to come with me. Come on. Let's go. Come on with me. So I get him to come out of the main room. We're talking in the lobby. I was like, hey man, what's going on? Like, you got to get out of here. He's like, well, I want to see a comedy show. It's like, what are you guys doing in here? You guys having an orgy? You guys having an orgy in here? You guys are fucking. It's like, I want to be part of the orgy. I was like, no man, we're having a comedy show. Oh, yeah, I like comedy. I want to do comedy. You guys having an open mic night? Can I have an open mic night tonight? It's like, no, it's not that kind of show. It's like a comedy. It's like, well, I want to watch. Like, well, I can't watch. How much is it? Yeah, I was like, no, man. Like, and I was like, I was stupidly. It's like it's a free show. It's like, well, let me watch. And I was like, no, like, I think you should leave. It's like, why? I can't watch. And he's a black dude, so I was just like, oh, a black guy can't watch the show. I was like, oh, okay.
Now I have to let him watch.
You know? And so it was like one of those things. I was like, all right, man. Here's the thing. You got to go right now, or I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to call the cops right now. You got to go. He's like, really? You're going to call the cops on me? And so anyways, I have to do the thing. I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to call the cops right now. And I essentially had to get him out of the thing. And it was one of those things where I had to, we had given him so much grace up until that point. And again, it's like the moment of like these, very liberal, crystally fucking people not knowing how to react around a crazy person, and me using my crowd working skills.
AKA relentless, just going, come on, dude, just
what do you
fucking
do for work?
leave.
Yeah, but
what do you do for work? You panhandle?
Yeah,
where do you do that at?
But so shout out Matt Rife. He'd be great as a mediator for homeless people. Actually, that's his next comedy special.
That would be so funny.
Skid Row.
Crowd work special on homeless people. That'd be a clusterfuck. I asked someone where they lived.
Right here?
Yeah. I mean, the clubhouse, you mentioned how there is a code to get in. So it's been changed one time. You know why? Because an improviser comedian became homeless and started living there.
Yeah.
And you would just see him there all the time, and he'd always be on his laptop. And sometimes people go in there and just to work on shit before their show or whatever. So you'd think, oh, maybe he's waiting for his team to show up, or he's working on a script or something. Over the course of time, he started being in there in his socks. He started taking his shoes off, just chilling there in his socks. And then eventually he just started chilling in there bare feet. And I think eventually someone was like, dude, you can't live here anymore. And that's when they changed. They put up the gate outside, and they changed the code. They put up a bunch of signs about if you see someone in here who shouldn't be in here. And to their credit / discredit, they're like, here's the mental health crisis number. Like, we'll just wait 2 hours for them to show up.
Yeah.
Well, this homeless guy, the last homeless guy I saw get let in there.
Wait, that comedian is now on SNL. So.
It worked. Guys, move here with no money.
It works, guys. It works.
Move here with no money and live at the clubhouse.
Anyways, Sam, this has been a very fun and special episode. We got deep, but then also we did some real fucking fun shit. So thanks so much for doing this, man.
I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah, man. We did it. We did
we
the
get to spin the wheel.
Sure.
Let's
go ahead and spin
just for fun.
All right. Wild guess. All right, we'll end it on a game. Okay. This is great. Wild guess is the improv game Mind Meld. You remember that?
No.
Daryl Jim, what the fuck? You didn't teach him this? No, it's a Mind Meld. You're gonna think of a word. I'll think of a word. We're gonna count to 3. We're gonna say that word, and then After that, we're going to try to think of what combines those words, what relates those two words. Okay. And then we're going to keep trying to figure out what brings those words together
until we're saying the same word.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Okay, here we go. Ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Van. Cow and van. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Trailer. Fuck yeah.
Nailed it.
We fucking did it in. I don't think I've ever done it in 2.
Well, I mean, that was
we nailed it, dude.
I literally, when I was like, I don't know what else I'm gonna come up with other than trailer.
We fucking did it. Literally, we did it.
Ooh.
We fucking did it.
It's real.
Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can people find you? And is there anything else you want to plug?
They can find me at samharder666 on Instagram or slamharder on Blue Sky, the app that no one uses.
I use it sometimes.
I do too. I like to post on it knowing that no one will ever see what I'm posting. What else? I'm on the Goods from the Woods podcast. You gotta check that out every Thursday at 5. We do live streaming.
Yeah.
Do some IRL, walk around, do some stuff.
Yeah.
This week I went to my friend Kurt's house, and then when I got there, him and his wife were very not happy that I was live streaming. And I told him I was before I came over. But then I had to immediately end. His wife was so pissed, I could tell.
So you got to check out these IRL streams, guys.
I didn't even show. I purposely kept the camera off them, but they still were like, the idea that I was live just was like infuriating to them.
So amazing. You got to check out these IRLs. You got to get some real moments.
Yeah.
You can follow me at Adam R. Mack on all the social medias, including my new YouTube channel, Adam R. Mack. I'm starting over from scratch, posting clips of my stand-up. And you'll be seeing hopefully some clips of some of my material from my one-man show that's debuting at the Hollywood Fringe special, Messy Ass, From Asses to Ashes, comedic solo show that's dealing with death and life and all that good stuff. But anyways, and you can follow this podcast as That Was Wild Pod for some very fun social media clips where we'll be rage baiting all of you in the comments. But
should we hit a rage bait before we go? What's another topic?
What's another rage bait?
See, the thing is, if you're online looking at politics all the time, you're not actually helping anyone. You're just online looking at politics. You think you're changing the world by reading politics. You're not. You're looking like an idiot because you're just reading about politics.
You reading about politics is just making journalists money. You're not doing anything.
You're adversely affecting the world.
You're just making the world angrier, and you're not.
Did I read some propaganda with a statistic in it?
You know that information was literally said from Trump. So you're just listening to Trump, you idiot.
So good job reading the news, moron.
Yeah. That's why I only get my news
from Mind Melt, the improv game.
Check out my new game, Mind Meld. You can get only on Amazon. Anyways, we're gonna end the show like we always do. Look down the barrel of that bad boy camera right there and say "That was wild" on the count of 3. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
That was wild.
It's time to get wild.
That was